Okay, I'll hang up. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our 2020-2024 Consolidated Plan. This is a virtual public hearing, and we are excited to have participants on this public hearing. We have with us myself, Erica Kraft, Director of the City of Anderson Community Development Department. We have with us Clinkscales with the Community Development Department. I see that we do have one participant thus far. It includes Ms. Kylie from Habitat for Humanity, and we're happy to have her. We will be discussing the purpose of the Consolidated Plan as well as the Annual Action Plan. Both are requirements by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for our federal funds that we receive, our Community Development Block Grant, CDBG funds. We do receive these funds annually as an entitlement entity, which means that we are allocated funds each year, and the funding varies based on a formula. The Consolidated Plan, as I stated, is the report that we submit to HUD every 5 years, and it discusses the entitlement grant programs that are administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, particularly our CDBG funds. We manage these funds through our Integrated Disbursement and Information System, IDIS, and that allows us to track projects by national activity, and they have to meet a national objective. We also are able to track funding and the beneficiaries of those activities. The Consolidated Plan helps grantees determine projects and activities that we will fund in the coming years. And the plan also includes community needs, resources, priorities, and activities that we propose to undertake over the following 5 years. A part of the Consolidated Plan is an annual plan, which will cover the program years beginning July 1 of 2020 through June 30th of 2021. The annual action plan is submitted every year, and it builds upon the CON plan. It describes specific plan uses that we have undertaken as we continue to meet the goals of our 5-year Consolidated Plan. Our 5-year Consolidated Plan has 5 components. There's a needs assessment, a housing market analysis, a 5-year strategic plan, the annual action plan that I spoke of, and the 5th component is the citizen participation. And this public hearing is a part of the citizen participation. We've invited citizens, elected officials, organizations, housing providers, social service agencies, and many other entities participate in this hearing so that we can allow the public to have access to the information that we're sharing. This year, HUD has advised us that we will receive $631,760 in community development block grant funds. We also anticipate having $127,135 that will be generated in program income. That program income is income that we anticipate receiving from loan payments that were awarded to past participants of our housing rehabilitation program, as well as our economic development loan program that assists small businesses. Together, we anticipate having $758,895 to address many projects and activities. Community development block grant funds have flexibility to be utilized for many different purposes with the provision that it assists low-income individuals or neighborhoods. The funds are geared primarily for areas and persons that are 80% and below the area median family income. The area median family income is determined by annual income guidelines set forth by the U.S. Department of Urban Development. CDBG funds can be used for many uses, including public improvements, streets, sidewalks, parks, sewers, and we have in the past year undertaken efforts to improve our D.B. Walker Park, as well as we have plans underway to improve B. Thompson Park. Public facilities may include neighborhood centers or nonprofit centers, homeless facilities. Rehabilitation of residential housing is one of our primary uses of our CDBG funds. As I stated previously, we award grants and loans to owner occupants that own housing that are located within one of our 5 redevelopment areas, and we'll look at those areas later in the presentation. CDBG fund may also be used for acquisition of land or real property, economic development activities. As I spoke of earlier, CDBG funds have been utilized by our economic development department to award loans to small businesses that are located either in downtown or in one of our redevelopment areas. The provision is that the businesses assisted must create or retain jobs that are held by low to moderate income persons. Public services is another activity that may be funded by CDBG funds. Public services may include healthcare, homeless services, literacy, youth services, or senior services. One of the projects that we anticipate funding for public services in the coming year includes fair housing, and there may be other services that we're looking to fund. Planning and admin is the funds that are allowed for the administration of the CDBG program. There is a cap that HUD places of 20% that may be utilized for the implementation of the CDBG program. The following screen, Priority Needs and Goals, lists several needs that have been identified in our community, and the right-hand column lists the goals that we anticipate to address these needs. The needs range from expand and improve public infrastructure and facilities, and the goal is to expand our public infrastructure and to improve access to public facilities. Another need identified is preserve existing housing stock. We attend and participate in a housing rehabilitation program, and we continue to preserve our housing stock by demolishing and clearing slum and blighted units in our redevelopment areas with the hopes of creating green spaces or allowing for the development of affordable housing in the future by partnering with other housing providers. Public services and quality of life improvements. This goal is to provide supportive services for special needs. Those may be populations that are homeless. It could be senior citizens, low to moderate income persons, or various other sectors that are special needs. Economic development. We intend to provide funding to assist small businesses that are located in downtown or in our redevelopment areas. Our action plan projects for the program year beginning July 1 until June 30th includes administration, public facilities and infrastructure, public services, housing programs, and economic development. We intend to fund administration at the 20% cap of $151,779, We propose to spend $227,669 on public facilities and infrastructure projects. We propose to spend $113,834 on public services, $189,724 on housing programs, and to fund economic development for $75,890. The needs assessment looks at various factors about the demographics of our low to moderate income target areas as well as the city. As you can see, the population in 2010 for Anderson has grown slightly from 26,566 persons to 27,129 persons in 2018. The income for households has also slightly increased. In 2010, the income was $10,741,000, and 2018 it increased slightly to $11,436 with a 6.5% increase. The median home value in 2010 was $126,300, and 2018 it increased slightly to $130,200, and that's a 3.1% change. This is good for our community. The map shows that over 42% of renters pay more than 30% of their income to housing costs. Anyone that pays over 30% of their income towards housing is considered cost burden. So we are slightly above what we should be in terms of persons paying 30% or less for their housing. This slide shows from the low to moderate income areas that the majority of our low to moderate income areas are located in the southern portion of the city limits. These are the areas where our redevelopment areas are concentrated. These areas have a higher population of low mod persons, and the poverty rate in those areas in 2010 was 27.1%. It decreased to 23.1% in 2018, and the change is negative 14.8%. So that is something that is a good thing, that our poverty seems to be decreasing somewhat. The city median income is $31,897. I mentioned earlier that we have several redevelopment areas where we concentrate the use of our community development block grant funds. This map shows the areas that we have redevelopment areas established. It includes the East Anderson redevelopment area, our West Anderson redevelopment area, North Anderson redevelopment area, South Anderson redevelopment area, Appleton Mill redevelopment area, Central Business District, West Franklin, Southwood Street. Now I would like to discuss the next steps. Our public comment for our consolidated plan and annual action plan begins April 13th through May 13th, 2020. We will allow citizens the opportunity to comment on a draft of the plan that will be posted on the city's website. We will post that at www.cityofandersonsc.com. Our plan will be submitted to HUD by May 15th, and we will also be participating with Anderson County as they will be presenting a consolidated plan and annual action plan as well. We are a member of the Anderson Home Consortium. They are the lead entity for receiving home funds through HUD, and we are the lead entity for receiving CDBG funds. Our program year for the 2020 year begins on July the 1st. And I must say, I'm sorry that I omitted to say that if anyone has a question, please feel free to write it in a chat feature that we have with this Zoom feature, and we will try to address any question. If you have questions, feel free to comment or question. You may submit that to myself at City of Anderson Community Development Department at 601 South Main Street, Suite 202. You may submit questions by phone at 231-2223, or you may email myself directly at ecraft@cityofandersonsc.com. So if anyone has any questions, Kylie, let's see. I see a comment from Kylie that says, I see your screen, and then you down in the corner. You're gone now, but I see your screen. So we do have that technical difficulty worked out, I believe. And the question from Ms. Kylie is that, can she get a copy of the slides? We will happily provide that. I can email that to you directly. And as I stated, the draft version of the report will be available on the city website, and we will be happy to make that available if someone needs us to send that directly. At this time, if anyone else on the meeting has any questions, please feel free to submit that via chat right now. If not, I thank you for taking the time from your day to join us, and we look forward to having your input and hopefully working with you all to improve the areas in our community that are most underserved. Thank you and have a great afternoon.